Welcome back, everyone. Without any further delay, let us proceed to the next session. Sirs, shall we proceed with the questions?
Yes, just a minute. I'll share my screen. Yeah, I think I'll share. Let them start sharing their competencies so that I can give feedback. I think that's what we start by the time the others come in. Yes.
Participants are requested to please post your answers in the chat box. Sir, already we have received...
And read it out. Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Actually, we have already received some of the answers. Shall I read it, sir?
Yeah.
So, Dr. Mayank writes...
Then can't they read it out? Can't they, the person who has written, it be good that they read it out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah.
Participants, you can please unmute yourselves and you can read your answers.
Yeah. Because I can give when I give feedback to them, it is for all. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My screen is not shared, no?
No,
or is it
sir.
shared? Okay.
No, sir, screen not shared, sir. Participants are please requested to unmute yourself and read the answers.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Yes, actually, if macro level study, I'm teaching the strength of materials and structural analysis.
Yes.
So if I take structural analysis, it provides basis for structural design, and whether for a specific structural design, it will be able to withstand external and internal stresses and forces.
Okay. Now let me tell you, all of you. See, the competency is that statement for which is that job which the graduate will do for him, for which he is being paid his salary. Let me put it. I'm talking of employability. We are talking of industry connect with the curriculum. It is not about understanding. By studying, by doing this course, what can the fellow do in the industry? That is the answer in one sentence. Am I right? Have I made it clear?
Yes, sir. Because
so you just read out that sentence for which he will be given his salary. That is the competency, right?
Analysis and design of any structure, which without any...
What is the action verb? What is the action verb? That what will he do? What will he do? In one sentence, I'm the interviewer. I'm asking you, okay, you've studied this course. What can you do for me? Tell me in one sentence. That is the competence.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, my name is Anil Kumarti.
Yeah.
I teach a course for BE students, Signals and Systems. After when he joins a job, his action verb
See,
is implement a code.
competency is nothing but what the fellow can do in the industry
code
for
will
him.
diagnose the system which is implementing.
Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello,
Speak
sir.
out. Speak out.
Hello, sir. Implement a code.
Anil, okay, let me read it. Implement a code to diagnose the stability of LTI system using MATLAB. Implement a code or implement any code. It should be implement codes to diagnose the stability. It should not be a code. Whatever problem is given to that person, that graduate, he should be implemented. Implement the relevant code to diagnose the stability of LTI system using MATLAB. Very good. Excellent. So this is one competency. That means, will all the topics be covered in this? Let me ask you one question. It should include all the topics and the practicals of that course. It is not a partial thing. A partial thing becomes a course outcome. Mr.
Sir,
Anil Kumar.
Audible?
No, yes, can you listen?
Yes,
can
sir, now
me?
I can listen. Yes, okay. Sir, yes. Yes, sir.
I am saying this, it should encompass all the topics and all the practicals.
Yes, sir, it's a MATLAB practicals we have done for them.
No. I am asking you, is all the topics included in this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Up to 80%. 80%.
Oh, no, up to 80%?
Yes, sir.
I would say it should be 100%.
Yeah, okay. I'll do
then
some
only
more
it
changes.
becomes a competency.
Sure,
otherwise, that means you. Why do you want to then remove the 20%? Don't teach him 20%.
Okay. I'll put.
So that decides your curriculum. You understood the point.
Yes.
Only include those curriculum which the industry wants. Unnecessary things should be chopped off. If that means when 20% is not required for that, chop it off. Don't include that in the curriculum. You got the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it should be implement codes, implement the relevant code to diagnose the stability. The relevant, not one code. Whatever problem is given, you should implement the relevant code to diagnose the stability of the LTI system using MATLAB. Very good, excellent. Now, this is the way you have to write competencies. Yes, anybody else, please. Next. Who else would like to get feedback? Yes. Please read out. It is not there in the chat box also. None of you have written it. Madam Lavanya, I think you should, this is a test for you. Let me put it. If they're not submitting the competencies, yeah, please take care of it. Otherwise, there's no point in all the teaching all this, because that is the main examination reform in the AICT. If they cannot write competencies, the entire thing, assessment goes for a toss. And only Anil Kumar has written. Who was the other lady who was reading out?
There are actually few more messages in the chat box, sir. Shall I read it?
Yeah, you can please read it. I mean, why aren't
they
Dr.
reading Mayank Yadav, he has written micro level job, maybe research for.
No. What is it? It should start with an action verb. Then only it becomes an outcome. It is not starting with an action verb.
And next, Muhammad Qasim, he has written macro level job, if a student studies strength of material, for example.
No. See, what is it? I mean, macro level job may be research for working on. Where is it written? I'm
In the
not
chat
able
box.
to see. I'm looking at the chat box only. Anil Kumar, after Anil Kumar?
Before, sir, before Anil Kumar, there are 3 more messages, sir.
Yeah, but they are not competent. Just read it out. Let me hear that.
Yes, sir. So, macro level job, if a student studies strength of materials, for example, can help a student to study various shear force, bending moment.
No, wrong. Studying is not, industry will not pay the salary for studying. Industry will pay the job for doing some job. What is that job he will do? I just want when the student goes for the industry for job, what is that one sentence that he will tell of that course? What can he do? That is the competency.
Sir,
Yes.
audible?
Yes.
Sir, but after studying only he'll be able to analyze the whole.
But what is that he will do? See, you are writing the end point. Gateway of India he has to reach. What is that gateway of India? I've already told you. What is that end point? That is the outcome. The industry is not interested in the process. What is the outcome? That is your headache, how to teach. What can you do? That is the outcome. Otherwise, it is not an outcome.
Sir, analysis and design of the structure using softwares.
Analyze, is it observable and measurable?
No, sir.
Can I see it? Can I see him analyzing? How can I know he has analyzed? It is taking place inside the head. What is the outcome?
Sir, by knowing the values of critical
knowing
deflection.
is also inside the head. Knowing is also not an outcome.
Sir, with the help of softwares.
That is the process. What is the outcome? What can he do in the industry? What can he do? You are telling me the processes. Studying, analyzing, these are all processes. What is the outcome? It should be an observable and measurable action verb.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, my name is Manoj Krishna.
Yeah.
So, basic geotechnical engineering subject is a PG level. So, after studying this subject, students can able to identify the soil and classification of the soil.
There should be only one action verb which should see. I don't want the industry does not want explanation. He wants, what can you do for me in one sentence with one action verb? What is that? Which includes all the topics.
Identification of soil.
What is the name of the course?
Basic geotechnical engineering.
So the only identification. That is a very small thing. It is a course outcome. By studying that whole course, he will only identify the job, the soil.
Sir, sir, we can say knowing the behavior of the soil.
Knowing is taking place inside the head. I cannot see it. What identify, I can see. It is observable and measurable verb. But that is a very small verb. It is a course outcome. It could be, or it may be a micro level unit outcome. It not be a course outcome also. It is not. It is a micro level unit outcome. All the topics, all the practicals of your course should get reflected in that competency statement. The industry, the industry will give salary for doing something at the macro level of that course. I can help you in that. I can write the competencies for all your courses. Let me put it. I've done that. This will be interpret the properties of the soil for any particular site. Am I right? It is observable and measurable. I can see it. I can measure it, whether he can interpret it well. Because of analysis taking place inside the head, he can interpret. So interpret is at a higher, it is an analysis level, right? interpret the properties of the soil of any particular site. That is their competency.
Yes, sir.
Got the point?
Thank you, sir.
And for interpreting that,
Yes, sir.
and for interpreting that, he has to learn the theory of the different types of soils. He has to do practical soil bearing capacity of that soil. Many things he has to do. Then only he will be able to interpret the properties of the soil. You got the point? So by studying the whole course and by doing all the practicals, the graduate will be able to interpret the properties of the soil. So his answer to the interviewer would be, sir, I can interpret the properties of the soil at any site. That is the answer that is given. That is the competency. Got the point? So all of you will have to start thinking differently. Don't think in small things. Small things, they are minute. The industry is not interested in, if we can explain. The industry is not interested in explanation, description, definition, define. No, the industry is what can you do? So that I'm giving you your salary. That is the thing. Yes, next person. Yes. Yeah.
Next, there is one more message, sir, from Mr. Shivakumar Babu. Student is studying construction technology and expecting the outcome of executing the job work without any help.
Is it a diploma holder's job or is it a graduate job? What does the Washington Accord say? The Washington Accord says a graduate engineer should be able to solve complex engineering problems. Executing the job is a diploma holder's fellow. That is what I said. Many of you in your curriculum, your outcomes are written at diploma level, which the industry doesn't want, and that is why they are unemployed. You have to write your competencies to solve complex engineering problems. So in construction technology, all your course, all the topics, all the practicals which you are doing should be able to solve some macro level job, do some macro level job. What is that? Who is that gentleman or lady who has written that? Construction technology?
It's Mr. Shivakumar Babu.
Mr. Shivakumar, can you tell me? You have written a diploma holder's competency. For diploma holder, even then, that can be refined still further. Okay. So your competency would be use various construction technology, equipment and methods to execute. No, I would say not to execute, construction technology. What are the topics involved in that? Yes, please, you raise your hand, please speak. Unmute and speak. Shivakumar. Mr. Shivakumar, please unmute and speak. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Shivakumar, please unmute and speak. All of you are telling that by studying this, by studying that, that is understood. You have to write down, start with an action verb. What can you do? Yeah. Hello. This is Shivakumar. Why don't you all unmute and speak? Are you there, by the way? Yeah. Hello. Yes.
This construction job is not the education part.
Can you speak louder?
Yeah. It is not only education, but managing the project
See,
by all the way. All resource management, material management, everything.
How will they, see, you are writing this competency for the student. Am I right? The student should understand what managing is. By writing managing, it is not clear to the, what is the outcome is not clear to the student. See, if you tell the student very clearly what he has to do by studying that course in one sentence, then he will or she will learn on his own, because they know that they have to reach that destination. Managing is not, it is a process. It is not an outcome. Managing is a process. It is a very, very generic process. Let me put it.
That is a process. The outcome is a product.
Yeah.
Of the particular project.
But so for that course, what is the outcome required? In construction technology, see, your topics and your practicals will guide you to write down the competency. What are your topics? You tell me your topics, I will help you in that.
Yeah, suppose building, construction of a huge high-rise building.
See that. What are your topics? Topics. What are your topics? See, unless that is where the in curriculum implementation and design, because you are unclear of your topic, of the outcome required, that is why the students are unclear what to learn. It should be very, just like earlier I said, diagnose the problems in this, or find or evolve new methods, or interpret the construction technology methods for that given situations. You have to do that. That is what an UG fellow has to do. A diploma fellow has to do something different. UG fellow has to do something different. Most of the time you are encroaching into diploma holders domain, and that is why they are unemployable. That's the thing. So you all have to start thinking differently. Write down the competencies first. I think I'll go ahead with my presentation, because all of you need to rethink, start thinking differently. If you don't think differently, again you will basically. I'll ask you a question now. One more. I will share with you incident which Abraham Lincoln said. Abraham Lincoln asked a question. If I call a horse's tail a leg, how many legs does the horse have? If I call the horse's tail a leg, how many legs does the horse have? Yes. There's no penalty for wrong answers here for this question. Yes. If I call a horse's tail a leg, how many legs does the horse have?
5.
This is not my question. It's Abraham Lincoln's question. But it has a deep meaning there. That's why I'm asking you this. Yes. It's all, how many? What? Did you understand my question? Did you understand my question? How, if I call a horse's tail a leg, how many legs does the horse have?
One, sir.
Sir, it will have 4 only.
It will have 4 only. Who said that?
Sir, Asim.
Asim, okay. Who said 1?
Myself, sir, Ami Choksi.
Okay, Ami Choksi said 1. Anybody else? Any other answer? Any other answer?
Sir, 5 can also be there. if we consider original legs as well as tail
No,
also as
no. See, Abraham Lincoln wanted only one answer. What is that? Your answer?
that is one only from me.
Huh?
5 legs.
5 legs. Okay.
Many legs.
Many legs. Then there should be a number. What is that number? It cannot be many or some. Okay. I am not going to prolong more. What Ami Choksi said, 4 is the right answer. You may call the horse's tail whatever you want, but it has only 4 legs. So similarly, the thing is, you may call the traditional curriculum an outcome-based curriculum, but it remains a traditional curriculum because you have not changed the outcomes. You are not written the outcomes in observable and measurable terms. You have not written the competencies. You are writing the process. The fellow was taught how to whistle. The parrot was taught how to whistle, the process, but the parrot could not whistle. So the outcome in outcome-based curriculum, it is not how you teach. What can he do in the industry for which he will be paid the salary? That is most important. That's where employability comes in. That's what I have to say. So write down competencies for one competency for each course, and you will have 70. If there are 45 courses, 45 competencies. There are 50 courses, 50 competencies for each UG program, whether it's electrical, mechanical, civil, electronics, computer science, all. Do that. That's the first thing that you have to do. And then from the competencies, the course outcomes are evolved. The course outcomes are industry oriented. The industry calls the course outcomes as skill sets. That means it includes practicals as well. That's what I'm going to continue with now. This is not what to do. Let me go to the other one. Yeah. So let me go over here. Yeah. Now the outcome of this session, can you see this? Hello,
No,
can
sir.
you see this?
No, sir.
Not yet?
No,
Okay,
sir.
just let me share. Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now in design and implementation, this is the second session. The outcome of this session is formulate different types of learning outcomes. Okay. At different exit levels of the OBC so that it helps in valid and reliable assessment. What are the various exit levels? When I'm talking of exit levels, in the classroom, there's an exit level. That means at the end of the class, what the student should be able to do. If it is a classroom session, it would be, he would be able to calculate something, or the student will be able to explain something, the student will be able to design something, the student will be able to interpret something. These are the classroom level, exit level outcomes, or the learning outcomes at the classroom level. What is the learning outcome in the practical, in the laboratories? In the laboratories, the student will be able to operate certain machines, adjust certain machines, calculate the flow rate of the flow rate, find the efficiency of a machine or an equipment. Like so, in practical, you have another exit level. Then at the end of the course, another exit level. The learning outcome at the end of the course is called the competency, and the learning outcome, competency and the course outcomes, and these are industry oriented. That is what I want to say. While in the classroom, it is not industry oriented. In the laboratory, it may not be industry oriented. In the laboratory, it will be industrial oriented partially. But in the course outcome, it will be fully be industry oriented. This is what has to be taken care. And how will you write the learning outcomes at different levels? That's what we are going to see over here. Competency is also a learning outcome written at the course level, at the outcome of the semester. Okay. See, the litmus test of the success in the OBC is when the teacher teaches every course, not theory for theory's sake, but teaches them in the classroom and laboratory theory for performance sake, so that every semester each student is able to display the industry validated competency and the associated COs. This is the litmus test of the OBC. And accordingly, you have to write the questions or to formulate the questions at the application level so that it reflects the performance in the industry. If you have questions only at describe and explain level, it is of no use to the industry. You have to give situations, you have to give problems which are nearer to the industry situation. Then only outcome-based curriculum would be successful. So that is the litmus test, and that you have to pass. So in curriculum planning and designing, what all has been done? In curriculum planning and designing, you have done curriculum you have written the PEOs, you have written the POs and PSOs, right? And then you have the competencies also you have written. Now, once you have written the competencies, you have done the occupation analysis and found out the competencies. Now, what you'll do is, this is what you have done so far, right? You have written the aim at the universal level, you have written the goal at the global level, and you have written the competency at the micro level. Now, the industry is interested only in this. The rest of the things, only the academicians or we are interested. That's what we have to always understand. We have to teach so that they will be able to perform in the industry. Now, what is this competency all about, or skill sets all about? A student has achieved the competency when he or she can display the integrated performance of the cluster of skill sets to a macro, related to a macro level job at the threshold level without wasting raw materials, damaging equipment, and hurting anyone. This is what a competency is all about, and this is what the industry wants. So if you look at this attainment curve, learning outcome attainment curve, this is what happens. In the 4 years in the industry, for each course, this is what happens. At the end of the semester, he should be competent to do something. And when he has reached the industry, he will be attaining the PEO. This is the basic difference. Now, that means for one course, for every course, there will be like this. So when you have a number of courses, when the competencies for each of the courses is attained, then the PSO is attained. Got it? So this is the basic difference or relationship between the program-specific outcomes, the competencies, and the PEOs. So through occupation analysis, you have identified the courses, course A, course B, course C, course N, right? And that is how you do. Once you have identified the competencies, you have the course names, course A, course B, course C, and course N. If you have 45 courses in the UG program, that is what you do. This is an example of a mapping of a rank order competency with the courses. Monitor the operation of different electric power systems. What is the course name? Electric power generation. Interpret the operation of different types of transformers, including CTPT, that is transformers and induction motors. Evaluate the operation of the electrical transmission, that's for electric power transmission systems. Test the performance of different types of electric utilities, that's for electric utilities. Now you see this monitor, right? Interpret, evaluate, test, use. All these are verbs which are observable and measurable and of terminal nature, which they will do at the macro level in the industry. Okay, so this is what has to happen. Any questions on this screen? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on the screen? Did you understand what is a competency statement and how it is related to the competency?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is at the macro level. And it is industry oriented. What the fellow will do in the industry. So all your competency statements, ask yourself whether they are doing at the macro level in the industry. Okay. Now, this we have seen that there are 4 logical steps. Now we go to curriculum design. So in curriculum planning, identified the competencies in the industry, what they will do, and identify the course names. In curriculum design, what you do is the program structure. When I say the program structure, it means in each semester, which course will go in which semester. That is what you mean by program structure. Some call it scheme of studies and things like that. But the correct word to be used is program structure. That means first semester, which are the courses, what will be the credits, what will be the number of hours. Second semester, what will be the courses, how many credits, what practicals, how many hours for practicals, how many hours for theory. Now, I just want to tell you again that the industry is not interested in the theory. The industry is interested what the student can do. That means practically can they do what they can do. So for that practical, what is the theory required? What is the underpinning theory required? That is what is required to be. Therefore, you need to have integrated courses with practicals and not practicals separately. That is why in OBE, wherever there are non-integrated courses, please integrate it. This is what my humble request is to all of you. And then you develop the course structure. Just like you develop the program structure, you develop the course structure as well. What do you mean by the course structure? The student should know what is the course outcomes required, what are the practicals to be developed, what are the skills to be developed, such things. Okay. Now, what is the course outcome? Now, as I have told you, it is not a cognitive or classroom-based outcome. It is a meso-level outcome, which is a subset of the competency and is an industry-oriented statement. Right? It is also an integrated performance of the cluster of micro-level outcomes related to the 3 domains of learning. This is where the domains of learning are coming in. In the course level outcome, because it is it is a skill set, you cannot apply the Bloom's taxonomy there. Bloom's taxonomy is for theory, not for practicals. For practicals, it is Dave's taxonomy, for which is beyond this session now. And for affective domains, it is Krathwohl's taxonomy. So, if you see what a competency is, it consists of a number of course outcomes. And within that each course, you have the practical outcomes, the cognitive domain outcomes, and the affective domain outcomes. So, like this. So that means for each course, there will be about 5 to 6 course outcomes, and each course outcome will consist of practical skills, the cognitive domain or the cognitive domain outcomes or the unit outcomes, and the affective domain outcomes. This picture will clearly show you that cognitive is where the cognitive domains and practical outcomes are related, how they are related. Now, I want you to write a sentence. Now, the problem now, if you see the syllabus, this is an AICTE syllabus. There are different modules. Can you see the modules? Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. So there are 4 modules. There will be 4 unit outcomes, course outcomes, and there will be for each the course outcomes are written there. Now the problem here is this: to understand, to study, these cannot be called as course outcomes because they are not observable and measurable. Outcome, whenever the term outcome is used, you cannot use the word understand, comprehend, study, because these are not observable and measurable. Okay, so that has to be taken care. Now write one sentence, okay, a subtask of the competency that the student can do in the which you have written one competency. Am I right? Okay, so in one competency there will be number of course outcomes. So you have to write a skill set, right, which includes practical outcomes and cognitive domain outcomes and affective domain outcomes. Okay, and then we will try to understand. So you have written a competency. For that competency, there will be 6 course outcomes, right? And what are those? Please write down that. I will give you 5 minutes for that, right? You have to read out the competency, and for that competency, what is the course outcome? Please write one of them. You may have 5 or 6. You have to write one of them. You can either modify the course outcome that you have already there with you, or else you write a new one based on the explanation that was based on the discussion that we had, right? Is the task clear? The particular unit or a module, you may call it a module, some call it a module, some call it a unit. I'm using the word unit for each. This module 1, some call it a module, some call it units. Different universities call different ways. So I'm calling it as a unit. That is why I say unit outcome. But now we have the course outcome.
Participants are requested to please post your answers in the chat box.
Design applications. This is written by Amy Choksi. design applications applying various operations for data cleansing and transformation. Okay. Now, for which module, do you call it a module or a unit? For which unit have you written this course outcome? What is the competency for this? Dr. Ami? See, to me, it appears that this is a competency and not a course outcome. This is for the whole course. This is what it appears to me. What is the course name? What is the course name of this? Yeah. I want you to look at this, how to identify whether your CO is framed correctly or not. Is the stated outcome an industry-oriented skill set, beginning with an action verb? If no, reframe it. If yes, is the industry-oriented CO a subtask of the competency? If not, reframe it. If yes, to do the subtask, does the CO reflect the micro skills to the 3 domains of learning? If yes, then go ahead. Then does the CO reflect the inclusion of the topics related to the learning outcome? Hello? So based on this, please examine the COs and then reframe it. Can you all see the screen? Can you see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Any doubt about this? How a CO is to be framed or formulated? Hello?
Sir, we have few messages in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, yes, yes. Let's go there.
Mr. Giri wrote, distinguish between determinate and indeterminate structures, Unit 1.
Okay, for Unit 1, distinguish between
determinate and indeterminate structures.
Yes. Okay. Will he be paid salary for that? Yes. Then I think that is a okay. For Unit 2, what will it be?
So we have one more message from Mr.
Yes,
Shivakumar Babu. Identify the functional role of ingredients of concrete. Subject, concrete technology.
Concrete technology. Okay. Identify the functional role of ingredients of the technology. Can we improve it? See, you have to, I would say you should go at the application level. Identify is still at the, it should be which the industry wants. I would say interpret the ingredients of the concrete, of the given concrete, of the concrete. I would put it like that. That would be a better CO. Rather than identify the functional role, interpret the properties or interpret the ingredients or interpret the functional role of the ingredients. Put it like that. Then you can say it's a UG level. Otherwise, it becomes a diploma level. So you have to think from that point. See, the graduates will have to solve complex engineering problems. That is what is important. See, if a diploma, if an industry can get the same job done by a diploma holder, why should he employ a graduate graduate engineer? That's the problem with lesser salaries also. So you have to prepare students who can solve complex engineering problems and not prepare them which the diploma holders does. Okay, so it should be interpret would be a better term there. Which is the next one? Okay, design of reinforced concrete. See, you have to start with an action verb. Design of is not required. Design reinforced concrete and brick masonry structures. But this is the competency. It should be design reinforced concrete and brick masonry structures. That is the, I would say that is the competency. And for that unit, what is the outcome?
Sorry to interrupt, sir. That's the course, sir. Course is design of reinforced concrete and brick masonry structures. Outcome is design of retaining wall.
No. That's wrong. It's a very small one. For Unit 1, design retaining walls. That's enough. Design of is not required. Design retaining walls is okay. And for the I would say this course name should also be recoined. See, a title should never be a sentence. A title should be a title. It has to say, you have to just reinforced concrete and brick masonry. That should be the title of the course. That's enough. And your competency would be design reinforced concrete and brick masonry structures. So in fact, your competency and the course is almost the same. So that should not happen. The titles are always short. They should not be sentences. It should be phrases only. Okay? Right. So that is done. Unit 1 should be design retaining walls. For Unit 2, what it would be? Like that. For each unit, there should be but what should be the practicals for Unit 1? That you have to think of. That is also there. So for Unit 1, there will be practicals. For Unit 1, there will be theory classes. For Unit 1, there will be some affective domain outcomes like that. So for each unit, there will be 3 types of outcomes: practical level outcomes, theory level, that is unit, your cognitive domain outcomes, and the others. Good. Dr. Vijay Kumar, what is he writing? Highway engineering.
Yes, sir. Data acquisition by surveying and optimization of various routes.
Where is the action? There is no action verb here. So this is not a competency at all. What is that he will do in the industry? Dr. Vijay Kumar? Dr. Vijay Kumar, can you unmute and speak? Yes. Dr. Vijay Kumar, can you unmute and speak? Why aren't the participants responding? Are they there? Is there any problem with the network? Because from GRIT, everybody is speaking.
No, sir, everything is fine, sir.
And why aren't they responding?
Maybe that particular participant has any technical issue.
Okay, but
because just now he posted the message.
Structural. See, none of the problem with all of you is you're not writing outcomes. You're writing phrases. There should be what the student should be able to do, what the graduate will do in the industry. That is what is important. It should start with action verbs which are observable, measurable, and of terminal nature. Data acquisition by surveying and optimization of various routes. What will he do? He will have to optimize the routes by data acquisition. That is their competency. Optimize the routes by data acquisition. This is what, see, you are telling this competency to the students. Then the students will be able to do it or learn on his own. So the competency-based curriculum or the outcome-based curriculum helps the student to learn on his own as well, because he knows the destination. Data acquisition by surveying and optimization is not an outcome. It has no verb at all, action verb. Okay, so that has to be taken care.
Excuse me, sir.
Pardon me? Yes.
Sir, structural dynamics is the name of the course. And the outcome I have written response spectrum analysis of all structures.
But where is the action verb? There's no verb there. It is a phrase. What will he do?
Sir, response structure analysis involves carrying out wind and shear forces in tall structures.
Nay, so but what is the action? See, you have to tell the student, well, by studying this course, you will be doing this, and then what is that doing? What will he do? In one sentence, you're preparing for his interview. In one sentence, what will he do? Tell that. It will start with an action verb. That is what has to be taken care of. Outcome based, it is the action verb that decides what he has to do. Evaluate the stability analysis in frequency domain. This is a competency, or this is a course outcome. This is for the whole course. Mr. Anil Kumar. Evaluate the stability analysis in the frequency domain. Is it for the whole course or for which unit?
It's one module, module 3, sir.
Module 3, that means unit 3. I would call it for unit 3. It's the unit outcome. So evaluate the stability analysis in the frequency domain. Okay.
Yes,
what is the practical for this?
Again, MATLAB. I apply Fourier transform using MATLAB tool and observe the graph. Location.
So you have to write down the practical skills also using action verbs. Okay,
I'll add.
That also you have to take. This is the you have to write the practical outcomes and the unit outcomes as well. Right?
Sure.
More. Okay, very good. Good. But this is good. So you have to write at what he will do in the industry. Evaluate the stability analysis. I would put it, analysis word is not required. Evaluate the stability. Okay, evaluate the stability because analysis word is redundant there, because you already, because of analysis, you are able to evaluate, right? So evaluate the stability of the structure in the frequency domain, something like that can go. Yes. Manjunatha, what is it? Yeah, what are you trying to say? Okay. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes,
all of
sir.
you can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, anyway, I will be giving you this the PPTs, no issues about it. But now let us see where we are. We had been this. You have written the aims, you have written the PSOs, you have written the competency, you have written the COs also now. So for each competency, depending upon the module, you will have CO1, CO2, CO3, CO5, and they are also industry oriented. Now you see the levels of they are all learning outcomes and their levels are different. That's the only thing. This is at the macro level and this is at the meso level. Okay. And the industry is interested only in this. Now, in curriculum implementation, you have this. Now you have to teach outcome-based teaching learning and outcome-based assessment. And some of the verbs which are not suited in OBE because they are not observable and measurable and in terminal nature. What are they? Study, learn, think, know, understand, comprehend, appreciate. So you see, these are action verbs, but they are not observable and measurable in nature, and therefore they should not be used in outcome-based curriculum. And this is happening all across India, and wrong learning is taken. The students does not know what is the end point. These terms does not show the end point of what they have to do in the industry. That is the basic problem, and that is why we are not able to implement also. You have to use words evaluate, you have to use word interpret, you have to use the word such action verbs you have to use, determine, calculate, right? Such terms have to come in. Okay. So, for unit outcomes, in the practicals, it would be determine, find, identify. These will be the terms used in the practicals. Now, so what are the characteristics of the outcomes? Now, let me look at that. The characteristic outcome should be, they should be smart. Let me put it that way. They should be specific, they should be measurable, they should be attainable, they should be reasonably challenging, and they should be time bound. So if you write smart verbs, smart outcomes, then it is very clear to the students what they have to, how they have to learn and how they have to proceed. Because our outcomes are not smart, the students are not clear what is really intended from that course, what they have to exhibit, what they have to display. That is what is missing in most of the outcome-based curricula, which all over the country I am seeing. So it is high time we refine our curricula so that they are smart. Now, in implementation, We can't go the old way. We have to go the new way. And what is the new way? The new way is facilitate the students to learn on his own. If you are going to spoon feed, he will not be able to do independently anything. You give him exercises, you give him problems, give him small projects. I would say every course should have a small micro project which will encompass, which will include all the practicals and all the theory as far as possible, and they should be near to real or some real life problems. Then only the competency can be achieved. Then only all the integrated performance of all the course outcomes can be seen. Therefore, introduce micro projects into each course. That's the way you can implement it. Maybe your university doesn't say that, but as a teacher, you on your own can include micro projects, and these micro projects you should include right in the beginning itself. You must say that students, listen, by the end of the semester, you have to do one micro project, at least. Only one, not at least one is enough. But you can, it need not be individual. It can be in groups of 4 to 5 students if there are more students. Otherwise, it should be 2 is more optimum. But if there are more students, large number of students, then you can go for 4 or 5, but not more than 5 if you have to really develop the skills in the students which the industry wants. So you have to go the new way. So introduce micro projects, introduce application level questions, introduce the laboratory should not be verification of theory. The laboratory should develop the skills required by the industry. When if I take electrical, it is not for verification of how he will connect the ammeter and voltmeter, how he will adjust the speed of the induction motor, things like that, which he will do in the industry. That has to be. Therefore, curriculum implementation involves outcome-based teaching learning and outcome-based assessment. That means in the examination or during the midterm test and the end semester examination, you will have to have questions at least 50% or more than that at the application level. Then only you can develop the skills, because the question paper decides the way the students will learn. If your question paper is simple, only lower order thinking skills will be developed. If the question paper is at higher order thinking skills, HOTS, then they will learn application level questions. Okay. So the first thing for the successful of outcome-based education is the foundation should be sure. That means reform or rewrite all the outcomes so they are observable and measurable. Then make the student to achieve them through outcome-based teaching learning. Then assess the students, have continuous assessment. I'll put it like that. You may have best of the 3 or best of the 2 out of the 3 assessments. Give continuous assessment and continuous assignments with outcomes. That's the basic thing. And then your outcome-based education will be successful. Now, another foundational definition that should be taken care is the micro-level outcomes. What are the micro-level outcomes? They are the practical domain outcomes, there are cognitive domain outcomes, and the affective domain outcomes. At the UG level, the PSO is one. At the program level, the competency and the CO are at the course level, and then the classroom level, you have the cognitive domain related outcomes or unit outcomes, and the laboratory, you have the practical outcomes. So this is one exit level. This is the laboratory exit level, EXIT. When I say exit, means at the end of the laboratory, what the student would have acquired to do in the industry. At the classroom level is another one. At the course level is the competency and the course outcomes. And at the program level, that's the capstone project, I would say, that is the PSO level. So basically, your capstone project or major project should be able to display the program specific outcomes. That is how it should. For your classroom sessions, the Bloom's taxonomy is applicable. For the laboratory session, Dewey's taxonomy is applicable. So if you can develop Dewey's taxonomy level outcomes in the laboratory and Bloom's taxonomy level at the application and above levels, then you will be able to develop the competency and the outcomes. This is how it goes. Now, the industry is interested only in these two. While we as academicians, we use the classroom session and the laboratory session to develop the competency and the course outcomes. Now, let's continue where we started from. We started from the aims or the universal level or the PEOs. Then we had the global level outcomes, which we call it goals or PSOs. Then the competency, followed by the course outcomes. Then we have the skill set. When we say a course outcome is a skill set, right? And so in the skill set, when the student or the graduate reaches the industry, he has to perform something. What is that practical thing? That you have to find out. And it is often related to the psychomotor domain, or if not, at the practical domain. And for that psychomotor domain, what are the modules or the unit outcomes? And what for that practical, what are the affective domains? And from there, you get the topics and the subtopics. So when you develop the curriculum, you go from top to bottom like this. But when you want to, in your teaching, when you go for outcome-based teaching learning, you will be teaching first the theory, followed by you will be telling the student, well, this affective domain you will have to do, and then the practical. That means basically you are developing the students the practical outcomes required by the industry. And when the number of practical outcomes are performed, then along with the theory, it becomes the course outcome. So course outcome includes practical outcomes, the module outcomes or the unit outcomes, and the affective domain outcomes. So this skill set is basically the course outcome. This, if we understand this, if we have understood this, then our teaching will definitely change. The students' learning will also definitely change. So, for the course structure includes all this. So, what is the course structure? For each course, there will be a competency. For each competency, there will be 5 or to 6 course outcomes. For each course outcome, there will be a number of practicals, a number of unit outcomes, and affective domain outcomes, and there will be a number of topics. Similarly, for course 1, CO1, then CO2, CO5, it will go on. Any doubt about this model? And then, when you have a number of courses, you have the outcome-based curriculum. Now, as I told earlier also, the industry is not at all interested below the course outcomes. They are interested in the competency, the goal, and the course outcomes. While we as teachers, we are interested more in this. So our concentration is more on this one, while the industry is interested in this one. But if we do a justice in this, writing down the outcomes very clearly, the student himself or herself will be able to acquire the competencies, course outcomes, and the PSOs and the program. So this model, I hope you have, if not understood, it is open for questions. This is the fundamental OBC model that all of you need to understand and refine your curriculum. If you want to go for NBA accreditation, let me tell you, redo your outcomes. There are many mistakes in most of the outcomes that has been written. It should be in observable and measurable terms. Any questions on this model? Because this is the most crucial aspect of outcome-based curriculum. No questions? Okay. Now, another problem with assessment in outcome-based curriculum is most of the curricula don't have the table of specifications, which is required for your question paper design. I am taking one course, for example. You have the unit title, I would say modules, module title or unit title, whatever you want to say. I would say, I use the word for in most of the places where we develop the curriculum, because I have developed a number of outcome-based curricula, we prefer to use units. You may use modules as well. So you call it the module title. So you will see that finally it is the creation level that is important for the industry. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So for 100 marks question paper, right, what would be the type of questions that you have to develop or design or formulate? Right? So that has to be taken care. So because of the lack of this table of specifications, you are unable to develop a balanced questionnaire, which is required by the industry. So, any questions regarding the table of specifications? TOS we call it, to test and this is to test the cognitive domain outcomes only, let me tell you. When you design the question paper for your theory exams, for a practical it is different. And just a summary of what we have done now. We have the different, all these are outcomes are called learning outcomes. Right? And they are at the global level, they are at the micro level. So what are micro level outcomes? They are at the practical, cognitive domain, affective domain, while the competency is at the macro level outcome. The course outcome is at the meso level outcome, while the program outcome and the POs and the PSOs are at the global level, while the PEO is at the universal level. Hope you have understood the different. They are also called learning outcomes are also called exit level outcomes, and internationally as well. Now, if you see the learning outcomes and topic relationship, this is how it will look like. With the number of outcomes on the y-axis and the other one and the nature at the x-axis. So for the PEO, there are a few. PO and PSO are more. Competencies are still number of more. There are more. Then for each competency, there are 4 to 5 course outcomes. Then Some affective domain outcomes are also there. The practical domain outcomes are there. The cognitive domain outcomes are there. You call the unit outcomes. And from there, the subject matter topics or subtopics are evolved. Right? And all these things we have authored a book called Outcome-Based Curriculum in Engineering Education. Most of them are available there. This has just been launched. This is the only book. This is the ready reckoner for outcome-based curriculum. Those who want to design and implement outcome-based curriculum, most of the topics is this is the result of our 40 years of experience in outcome-based curriculum. The foreword has been written by Professor Punia, and the message has been written by the director, Dr. Tangaraj. And it's about 356-page book, around about 350 pages. If you can get it online as well. You can go, and this is the link for that. Maybe I can put it in the chat. Those who want can get it. I'll just put it there. Much more is there, but because within the short time it is difficult to. So I'm putting it in the chat box. Those who want can copy the link and order. You'll get a discount if you order straight, because it is still not come to the bookstores. It has just been launched, but there's a heavy demand by different people because there is no book on this in India so far, and therefore people are just picking it up. Now, the entire whatever I talked so far is there in this model, and this model we have discussed at length that book as well. But any questions that you have? Now it's open for questions. So thank you for your presence, attention, and valuable time. Any questions that you have?
Thank you, sir, for your interactive session. It was very informative. Participants are please requested to post your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourselves and ask the question directly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sir,
yeah,
we are the institute.
Can you speak louder? A bit louder, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sir, our institute is affiliated to Gujarat Technological University.
Yes, very good.
So actually, we do not have right to change our course outcomes. It is designed by the university.
Let me put you. It is not. You are not changing. You are only improving. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You are not changing. I'm not. See, if the word understand is there, that is not an outcome at all. You change it to put an action verb there. You're not changing it. You are only making it clear to the students that what is intended of them.
Yes, sir.
Because the problem is in many places it has not been designed perfectly. In some courses it is okay, some courses it is not okay. It all depended upon the team which has did it. Some teams were very good, some teams were weak. So that problem is there all over India. So that is where each institute will have to look into it and reform it before the NBA team comes.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question.
Yes.
For program specific outcome.
Yes.
That is PSO.
Yes.
Now, as we are affiliated to our university, many other colleges too are affiliated to the same university.
Yes.
So, shouldn't we say that PSO is same for all computer engineering?
Not at all. Not at all. That is where that is where NBA has given you the freedom.
Yes,
you can have it. It may mean others may copy yours. That's a different thing. Or you may copy others. That's a different thing. But if you want your institute should be at the top, you will have all the special, all the things that you want to have on your own. You can change it. That
sir,
is there.
yes,
Yes.
one more question.
Yeah. So it all depends. For example, the PSO, what focus you want to give depends upon your institute. What is the strength of your faculty? Depending upon the specialization of faculty, your PSO will change.
Okay, okay.
Or depending upon the focus of your management, also PSO will change.
Okay.
It is like that. PSO is yours own.
Yes,
PSO
sir.
and PEOs both. Only POs you are not allowed to change.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
And
sir.
that is where you have to work as a team, and you have to have specialists, curriculum development specialists like the knitters and us, where we can. I have done plenty of them. So you have to involve specialists, curriculum development specialists. On your own, or else you have to train yourself, work on yourself. Mean you yourself have to develop as a curriculum development specialist. It takes time. I will not say it is that easy, but it has to be done if you want to make your students to be employable. All boils down to employability, madam. Yeah. Yes.
Sir,
any other question?
As you are saying that if suppose we have designed our PSO and we want it to be verified, you are
Yes.
saying that we want to have the experts. So, sir, how can we find those experts?
See, knitter is one.
Yes.
I am there. Though you can get my number. Maybe I will put in the chat box. My email is there. Those who want can consult me. No issues. But there are experts. I would say Knitter Bhopal is one institute which has worked a lot for the last 50 years in outcome-based curriculum.
Yes, sir.
So yes, that's what and people hardly know about it. That's why I would say we have the authority on outcome-based curriculum. I would say.
Sir, please provide your email address. I'll be mailing you our cases.
Yeah, okay. I'll put my email address. Let me put it. Let's see. My email address is JOSHUAEARNEST 29@gmail.com, and my number is 94065642339. Yeah, and I would say if you can get this book of mine for each department, let me put it. I'm not trying to market, but I'm telling you, it's a ready reckoner. Or I would say 90% of your doubts will be, I would say 95% of your doubts will be clear. I've given a lot of examples from engineering education.
That's great, sir.
Yes, and the concepts are, I mean, because I'm already started getting feedback about it. There was no book in the country. So that would be the best thing, because of course I'll try to answer you, but then there's a limitation, no? Because book is book. Explanation maybe for some time that will happen. That will be always handy with you. That's what I have to say. Yes.
Sir, myself from computer engineering department, will I be able to find the examples of computer related in this book?
Computer related examples, maybe one or two, not more. It's more on because see, but I can help you otherwise. Okay, sample I can help you. Okay, if you write to me, or we can in fact, let me tell you, it is basically through discussions we come to a conclusion.
Oh, that's great.
That's the thing. So you can phone me up or something like that. Sample one or two I can do, but beyond that it may be difficult. See, it is a teamwork. Again, I have to tell, and it is iteration is a lot of iteration takes place. If you really want to write good learning outcomes, a lot of iteration. I mean, you will write one, then you will improve it, then write again, improve it, then write again, improve it. It goes on like that. So yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yeah. And anybody else would like to have any questions?
Any other questions from the participant side?
Otherwise, maybe we can call it a day.
Yes, sir.
So thank you one and all for all your patient hearing. Because it's a very, very large area. I tried to squeeze in many things. And moreover, I'm not very familiar with Zoom. I'm more familiar with, that's why there was some technical problems, which I could not help. Yes.
Yes, very good. I should say wonderful session was there. Very small things also you have considered, which we people used to accept. It is like this only. So like industry or education program, very small things you have considered in detail, and that is really wonderful session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And all that is, I'll share my PPTs with Madam Lavanya, who can send it across to all of you. And but that is very short. I'm not telling that because the book will be most essential for you. It's a ready reckoner, handbook it is basically. I had to use the word handbook, but the publisher said don't write handbook, because then some people misinterpret it also. So basically it's a ready reckoner. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable time and informative session. I request all the participants that we can take a lunch break now, and we shall resume our next session exactly at 2 p.m.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.